step forward.
Welcome to the Then and Now podcast. We the best podcast in the world, multiverse, universe, and all that good stuff. I am one of your co-hosts, Mr. C. Diesel. To the left of me, I have Professor Ethan Murphy. This is the throwback episode. Our brother Otis is at BlurCon, or he's on the way back from BlurCon, I believe. Right. So we wish him safe travels and hope he had a good time. He'll be here to tell us all about BlurCon and the experiences that he had when he was there. I can't wait to get into it and talk to him. But until he gets back next week, it's going to be a throwback episodes to the rough origin days of the Then and Now podcast. And it was just me.
He said the rough origin days, and it's just me. Yes. Before Otis fixed everything. Without Otis was a train wreck.
Some of them videos were rough. Oh my god, it was fun, but some of them were rough compared to what we got going on now. Anyway,
somebody's personal favorite is the one where we tried to do the Batman reaction, and it took us like 4 or 5 tries to get into it. And by the time we actually did, I couldn't stop laughing because it just took us so long.
The funny thing is, when I reposted that video onto YouTube, that video I think is one of our highest view videos. For whatever reason, that was one of our shittiest ones, but people like that video.
That's the irony. That's why, because of irony.
How you been though, E? You having a good day, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Having a really good day, man. This has some ramen, so I'm probably gonna pass out from the itis after this show. But I am good, man. I'm good. How you feeling? How you living?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. I got a good little rest in. I got some juice and some water, so I'm trying to stay hydrated and do my best, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel you.
I don't know. Was I selling juice just then? Jesus. Anyway. Let's go ahead and skip the formalities and get into the topics for today, man.
So tell the pretty folks what the topics are today.
So essentially, we're going to be going over the finale of The Boys and kind of give a brief thought process on the season itself. And then we're going to be reviewing non-spoilers. It's all non-spoiler today, so you guys don't worry. Thor, Love and Thunder. I almost said Ragnarok, but Thor, Love and Thunder. Yeah, I'm excited to get into it. And then we're going to end with one of our favorite things that we're doing now with the Blur Down. We have our top five apiece badasses in media in general. Mm-hmm. So I can't wait to get into that.
So you can say top 10 overall. Top 10 overall badasses combined. Yeah.
Only reason I didn't say top 10 because it's like each individual 5.
Sure.
But it's not. Anyway, formalities.
Yeah, I'm just giving you a hard time. If I don't give you a hard time, Otis isn't here. So I got to give you.
I thought I had a break today. I thought I had a freebie.
Why would you ever think that? Why would you think that? No.
Anyway, let's go ahead and get into. We start with the big honcho with Thor: Love and Thunder.
Okay.
I know we already know Otis hates it from the text message he sent in the chat earlier, so he's gonna be here either next week or at some point. He's gonna find a way to talk shit about this movie. So I'm waiting. I don't know. I know Otis, and at some point he's gonna find a way to do it. So yeah. But until he gets here, we'll do it for him.
I mean, this is a live show, so if you found a way to call into the show, just call in like it's like over the somehow. I wouldn't be surprised.
Calls in just to talk about that and then bounces. This is a fun movie. I really enjoyed the thing about this movie when you're just watching it and having fun and enjoying it as a summer blockbuster movie for what it is, it's fun.
Yeah.
When this movie ends, if you think about any kind of continuity that they're trying to have in the MCU or like what the fuck they were doing with certain characters, you get angry. For people that don't know, I was on Clint Baker's Versus show like last week with him and Curtis. Shout out to those guys. Go check them out. And me and Curtis have a similar thought process where we just like ranted about this movie. Like we were supposed to do like a versus thing on their show, but for the first like 30 minutes was just us ranting about this movie and the lack of tone consistency and how one like the best thing in the movie being Christian Bale's Gorr was used for all of 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy.
Yeah, I that's the thing is I told you this before. Right after I came out of the movie, I hit you up, Dev. I talked to you I talked to you like literally like 2 minutes after I came out of the movie.
Right.
And I was like, this is a movie where I thoroughly enjoyed it. At the same time, I completely understand why people have problems with it because the tone shifts are drastic. They are like the opening. No spoilers, but the opening of this movie is one of my favorite openings to any Marvel movie. Period. Like the first 3 minutes.
Really?
First 3 minutes. I mean, the before the hero even shows up, before the hero even shows up, just the actual like, because it's what it does. What I really like about movies and stories is when they set up the villain really, really well. And this movie sets up the villain really, really well. You actually do understand where he's coming from. You understand his motivations, and it's like, okay. You see him perform. You see his performance. Like, oh, I get it. This is what's going to happen. It's really well shot. And then the movie takes a massive tone shift immediately after. It's like, okay, all right. And it does that kind of, and that's kind of the movie in general, is that it goes back and forth, it shifts. But at the same time, when you're in those moments, I enjoyed them. Like when you're supposed to be scared, I was scared. When you're supposed to be sad about something that happens, I was sad. When you're supposed to be laughing, which is a majority of the movie, I was laughing. So it's a weird experience, but that's also Taika Waititi. It's not a surprise. That's kind of what his MO in a way too.
Right. See, even for me with that opening scene, it was cool, but even with that, it felt totally inconsistent because maybe this is the comic purist in me, but you should understand. You read it. You probably read this comic, but even with the Gorr comic, that whole thing was supposed to be that additional encounter. If you guys read the comic, Gorr stumbles upon the two guys that were fighting or whatever else, and one of the gods asking him for help, and he proceeds to like kind of come unhinged because he's been praying for just water for I don't know how long, and his daughter died of that. And he's getting pissed because this guy that he's been praying to for help is asking him for help. Yeah. So he starts to become unraveled and shit. This one is
watch out for the spoilers though.
Yeah, no, this is the comic.
No, yeah, I'm saying I'm saying watch out for the spoilers for the movie.
Oh yeah. Even with this one, there was like they had Christian Bale act like really goofy to start with, where it felt like he was kind of going over the top to act a certain way, be like a devout worshiper. And
you thought he was goofy? You thought he was acting goofy?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of weird. Like, but I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping, but it felt kind of weird. And then they just like some of the stuff they did was just throwaway. Like that beginning scene to me, you could start that jokey, but it should have been a lot darker than what it was. Because it was like
didn't
2
come
seconds
across to me as jokey or for you mentioned that Christian Bale seemed like he was playing kind of goofy.
Yeah,
that didn't seem goofy to me. And the thing is, what happens? So in that opening scene, it is Gorr the God Butcher. He does meet a god, and he's upset and that kind of stuff. But the thing is, as opposed to him seeing two gods fighting, it's a different scenario that plays out. And Christian Bale's emotional. We understand where he's coming from emotionally. We've seen his journey that he's had, and that doesn't. Out in the theater, there are people that were like, "Oh my god!" I heard people that were saying, "Oh my gosh," and they felt so bad. No one was laughing. It was silent when that scene was playing out. And then when things unfold the way they do, it's like, it's a more dark, a much darker atmosphere to it. Later on in the movie, they're playing up things. They're playing jokes, and there's a part where even Christian Bale himself, like, it seems like he's having a little more fun in a way. But that opening scene, there were no laughs.
okay. Put this in perspective. They did that, and it was amazing. Like that whole darkness thing, showing how he got to that point. Yeah. And then as soon as he discovers the gods are like over the top and like shiny and like cracking jokes and laughing and shit.
Yeah, the gods are. Yeah.
And then he does the bumbling buffoonery thing.
What did he do? He didn't do anything bumbling.
I can't say exactly without giving away spoilers or what he was doing, but
he seemed desperate. He was. If you were in a desert for days on end and you were like, and you come across some food or water, you would, of course, you throw yourself at that food and water, and then of course you'd bow in front of the God. That's what he does basically.
It was desperate, but it felt more like, "Sir, may I have some more, please? Please, may I have some more?" Like it felt like really over the top for what Bale does, and I don't think everything should be comic accurate, but I think I don't know why they wouldn't go the route of that, because I feel like they missed the opportunity to give Bale a really dope monologue there that he could have like just done Bale shit at that moment.
I feel like he did have a monologue. I mean, he actually did. He did say some exchange of words with it. I think I know what it is. It is the comic purist in you.
Not even because like this scene, it was like he talked, but it felt weird. I can't explain it without spoiling a lot of stuff, so I'll leave it at that. We can talk about it off camera after the fact. But I felt like with how good Bale was in this movie, because they would do certain shots in which he like, and even in like the first 15 minutes where he looked so menacing and intimidating, and it looked amazing. And then we don't get to see him for like another 30 minutes. Like they would give us a little bit of gore every 20 minutes, and I'm like,
Yeah,
the movie features him as the main villain. Why are we not showing him more?
yeah,
Why are we just like I get that we have to do this buddy cop thing with Thor and Thor and friends, and I think go around and do everything else, but
yeah,
if we're not focused like the main objective, like I don't know, we should have just seen more of Christian Bale's score.
yeah.
And I feel like they wasted an opportunity not utilizing an actor that was doing that well, that caliber. I know Otis fucking hates him. I think he's an amazing actor.
He's a great
He
actor.
may be
He's
an
a great actor.
asshole, which most
Yeah,
actors are, but
sure.
I think he's talented, and I think they just wasted the opportunity to do more with him in this movie.
That's
Um,
fair. That I think that would have been nice to see more of Gore as well. But at the same time, and the thing is, the movie's like two. I'm not sure what the entire running time is. The movie definitely has a lot more. Spent a lot more time like focusing on Thor and
mm,
Jane Foster. That's in the trailer. You know, she's in the movie.
right.
There's a reason it focuses much more on the. It's more or less it's about their story overall than anything else. And partly, I did the research. I know why that is the way it is because Natalie Portman in Thor 2 was pretty much all but promised an entirely different movie when Patty Jenkins was signed on to direct it. And then that got completely tossed aside and she was still left on that movie and she's like this is bullshit. So this movie is in a way like almost an apology to her for that, but it also is meant to be a different kind of thing. Gore definitely is you don't see him as featured as much. However, that being said, he still ranks in the upper echelon of echelon. There you go. The upper echelon of villains for me in the MCU.
To me, he's like top three to me. He's top three.
Yes, exactly. When he's on, he's on. I mean, it's kind of like
Mhm.
Jaws in the first Jaws movie. You barely see that shark, but when he's there, it's like holy shit. So that's kind of how I felt about it. And he even had his own theme song too. If you remember his theme song, Dev, it plays it's not a spoiler. You see in the movies that they're probably go to this area that has this void of light. I'm sorry, void of color. And when they show up there, his theme song plays. It is very eerie and dark. There was a kid sitting in front of us. He must have been, I think, 9 or 8 or what have you. And he actually was like, when he got to that part, he was like, I saw him like clinging over to his mom. He was afraid. It's like, yeah, it's actually doing its job. So again, I'm not saying your points aren't valid, Dev. They are. And I would have liked to see more of Gore, but the tone was all over the place. But at the end of the day, I did enjoy I enjoyed myself watching the film. And yes, of course, in true Ethan fashion, I did cry at the end. I'm not gonna lie, I did cry. So yeah.
The thing with me about it is I feel like you didn't have to put Gore in the movie. You could insert XYZ Thor villain due to the fact because it's like about the story of. Granted, I don't know who really wanted to see that. I think people were expecting Thor to start to get his wrap up a little bit because we know Hemsworth isn't going to be in the MCU too much longer per se. And we've already seen every other member of the Avengers outside of like Hawkeye, which he's passing his mantle on from the Hawkeye show. And then the Hulk's been kind of sidelined for obvious reasons. Everyone else has gotten their goodbye and it's been done relatively well. He's just like lingering around and it just continue to like make him do more goofy and funny. Like I get that he has to be funny, but if every 2 minutes it's like the equivalent of a fart joke, I'm like, come on. We're just like, and my whole thing is you could have replaced Gore with like the Enchantress or like any other Thor villain, and this would have been the same movie pretty much.
On some level, I we know he get it. We knew he get it somehow. By the way, he's driving home now. He still manages while driving to text that message in. He'd rather die.
Mad as I am, I know he's 3 times as mad as I am about this movie.
Yeah, but in all fairness, he's like always at least 2.5 times madder than us, anyways. So it's not even a surprise. But yeah, I know what you mean. They could have swapped out a different villain for this, but I think that's partly they wanted because Gore is the opposite end of the spectrum of what Thor is in this movie. If Thor is bright, colorful, and goofy, Gore is the exact opposite. Because also Thor is jacked and swole and big and colorful and bright and funny. Gore is the exact opposite in every possible way. It's meant to be Joker and Batman. That's how I interpreted it. It's not meant to be something like this. Isn't like any run of the mill villain that Thor would fight. This is someone that's meant to be the exact, make him feel the exact same fact. Opposite end of things. So my interpretation of the film was based on those things, and it's not that the movie's flawless in any possible way. It's just that the
Yeah.
highest movie hit for me, they hit. There are definitely lows, and you're right. The kind of Thor's personalities, he's become gone so far into almost like a caricature. It's like, okay, all right, well, that's
Right.
what it is.
And I will say again, the movie was fun. Like I enjoyed the jokes hit when they were supposed to hit. Like everything it wanted to do usually worked for me, but I just felt weird because it felt like it didn't match.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Funny thing too, I know Curtis pointed this out and we talked about it. Ethan, can you count how many guys you saw Gorr kill in this movie?
That I saw that were killed. Only a couple. I think maybe that I saw that were killed definitively. Like 3. Now here's the other thing.
3?
The ones
who are the 3?
So well, I can't. I'm not gonna.
Oh yeah. Oh, never. Yeah, I forgot. We can't spoil it.
Yeah, we can't spoil it. But also, you said guys that are killed. One of them is even killed by Gorr, too. You gotta remember that. So.
And that's my thing. You get the God Butcher and
right.
Thor probably has a higher body count than he does in this movie. Is crazy.
Yeah, no, he definitely does. Thor has a higher body count that we see. That we do see images of, like, on the past has happened, but we don't actually see Gorr in action tearing up folks. So no, I feel you on that, and it's this isn't. I don't feel as strongly about this one as I do. We got to move on. I don't feel as strongly about this as I do about Thor Ragnarok. I feel like the gripes people have about the tone shifts or Thor being too silly or not having enough gore or being. I get that. Right. But just for me personally, I enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, and Otis, with the sword, I thought that was the case, but. I can't spoil it. We'll talk about it with Otis at some point. So I thought that was the case for the entire movie, but it wasn't. It felt like.
Well, I don't know. That's not. I
mean, we can get into it later. But it's the whole thing. Moving on, we'll get into The Boys. Probably to me the best thing that came out this year. I can't really think of any other series that I enjoy that really is better. Is there anything you can think of that was better than the show?
I don't. So it's one of those things where we're in the heat of things. There may have been something better. We can't think of it, but it's great. It's a great one. It's definitely at the top.
I feel like something better. I would be able to think of off the top of my head though.
So I mean, some folks say Stranger Things season 4. They like that one more.
It was good. I still wouldn't go ahead.
But also, I'm just trying to think of some other shows that came out this year.
And I can't literally all the shows. I talked about this with a friend. Rather be all the Marvel shows were pretty mid.
Yes, very mid.
I can't really think of any other Netflix shows that really came out that like entertained me to the same
wowed
level.
you. Yes, we'd have to actually stop and go back and look at some stuff. But
that being said, I'm pretty sure
The Boys is definitely a good one. Yeah, The Boys is definitely a good one. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure even if we go back, I don't think I'm going to find anything better than this. But
fair.
That's just, again, maybe I'm just speaking for myself. But this season was really dope. They did a lot of great things. What was your general thoughts on the season as a whole?
I completely agree. It was, and I went into it with pretty high expectations, mainly because I enjoyed the first 2 seasons, but also because I'm a big Jensen Ackles fan.
Mm-hmm.
I loved him on Supernatural. He's voiced multiple characters in the DC universe, and all of them every time he shows up, he's amazing. So I was looking forward, and they announced, there's a girl, there's Zai, we love her, she's great. We need to get her back on the show pretty soon, but they announced that Soldier Boy, or that Jensen would be playing Soldier Boy, like I think like 2 or 3 days after the last season aired. The last season ended. Season 2 ended. They announced he's showing up for that, and I was like, oh my gosh! So I've been hyped for this season for a while, and it didn't disappoint.
Right. This season, like all the hype and stuff that was built from like the marketing and stuff, like you said, it lived up to it. It continued to do this thing with me. I have a love-hate relationship with Homelander, where I can't think of in a long time outside of maybe horror movies when I was really young, where I literally was like in so much suspense whenever he was in a room. Like if he's ever in a confined space with a character, I could not even like this character, but I'm just like on edge. I'm just like, he's about to snap and just murder them in the worst way.
Yeah, I the same thing with Joffrey. Joffrey made me feel the same way. It's like someone that powerful, that's that psychotic. It's like anything can go all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And the one thing to me that distinguished the two is that Joffrey had power to like get shit done. Homelander had the power just to do it on a whim whenever he wanted to.
Yeah.
And initially I thought that would get old very soon because they did a million scenes of like him like being in a room with somebody and you don't know if he's gonna kill him. But for me, it never got old because every time I'm on suspense. I think once I even like did the little kid thing where like I covered my hand. I used my hand to cover my eyes. I'm just like, oh, what the hell is about to happen? I'm biting my sheets and stuff.
Yeah.
It was dope. Anthony Starr is an amazing actor, and I don't know if I could ever trust him in real life after this. Like,
so he's complete. He's such a completely different. So I know you haven't seen the show Banshee, the other show he was in for like 4 years on Cinemax. But yeah, the real Anthony Starr is nothing like these characters he plays.
mm-hmm.
But he's doing his job. He's doing his job. He's convincing you he's this kind of a over the top like sociopathic, psychopathic, maniac monster really, really well. And it wasn't just Homelander, but it was also what I really enjoyed too was the idea, the premise for the show, or the difference between the show and the comic. In the comic, the boys start using the powers a lot faster and a lot more frequently than they do in the show. In the show, we won't get into too many spoilers, but they don't use the powers hardly at all in the first 2 seasons, and very infrequently in the third season, and it comes at a great cost. And they show pretty much that like anytime Homelander or any other supers around, they have to use their brains first, second, and third to deal with them. That's what makes all the encounters so interesting. So let's say, for example, Homelander is in a room with somebody. What makes it so much fun is the idea of like, how are they going to survive this encounter with absolutely no powers?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy thing. It's like he's a god. Even it was weird for me, but even in scenes where he's not even involved, but because he's like losing his mind, I'm expecting him to fly in and murder people at any moment because we've already established that he has super hearing, he has a super sense of smell, and he has super speed. So literally, there's nowhere where you're safe. Right. In my mind, I'm like, how has he not just found them? Like he's always lingering in the back of my mind because I'm like, damn, he's just gonna fuck everything up. And
they do. So that's one thing too I like about the show. That I like about the show is that it shows that Homelander, even people that you think he's really close to that he wouldn't kill, he kills them. Spoiler alert for the first season, he kills Elizabeth Shue's character. I forgot her name now. What's her name?
The blonde lady that he was obsessed with.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Oh my gosh,
it's a guy in a comic book.
It's the person they gender swapped. It's gonna make Stillwell, Madeline Stillwell.
Stillwell.
Yeah.
But so he obliterated her face. I mean, and there are other characters like that too. So it's like you don't know where the plot armor ends and doesn't end for certain characters, and that's why, like you said, Homelander is a very viable threat. But outside of Homelander, I did enjoy just the fundamentals and mechanics of this season, seeing what characters would be like if they're put in different situations. Characters that have superpowers, when they lose them, what they become, or characters that have never had them and they do get them, what they become. Characters that actually have different motivations or in different situations. Overall, it's just this season played with everything so well, and not to mention, of course, Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy. He did an amazing job.
Yeah,
he's worth the wait.
Yeah, James. I think I'm pretty sure Love Sausage was the character with the long, because he was in this last season as well, I think, or the first one.
He's in this one also.
Yeah, with the super long dingling that just can control. That's supposed to be like him, but it's not him exactly. It's like a spinoff. Thing. I don't know. It's like a whole thing. But yeah, in regards to what did you just talk about? You just said something about.
I don't remember. Soldier Boy being
Soldier Boy. Yeah. Jensen Ackles. He was amazing. I love Jensen. I was already a Jensen Ackles fan because of Supernatural. He was able to do Jensen Ackles shit fully unadulterated.
Right. Yeah.
And it was dope. Like from the moment he was on screen, I wanted more of him. And they kept they like gave you just a little bit before they gave you the full thing. They gave you just that little sample.
They did the perfect. Again, earlier today, Dev and I were talking off camera about how much I love season 4 of Young Justice and how much I hate the third season. But they do something really, really well as far as the writing goes with this show, because they teased Soldier Boy from the first episode of the season. They built up his name before you saw him. They built up his name over and over and over again, and so you see little fragments of him, you see little flashbacks of him, and then finally they unveil him later on. And it's kind of like this. It's almost like they're building up this larger than life mythos legend of a person. So when he's finally unveiled, it hits that much harder.
Right. You know what that reminded me of? Madara Uchiha.
Yeah,
literally he has statues in the background for the entire run of the show. People talk about him here and there, about how dope he was. and then when he makes his appearance, it's like the
Hands,
splash and it's grandiose.
hands over the place. Yeah, exactly like Madara in a way.
Mm,
And because they did have statues of Soldier Boy in season 2, I remember seeing them specifically.
right, and then I think they tore down at the end. Well, I almost skipped. Oh, I definitely gave it
Yeah.
away. But anyway, it's not that big of a spoiler, I don't think.
No, but it was good stuff.
Yeah, the show's dope, man. This is one of the shows where like every single week I was genuinely excited to see what they were going to do with each episode, and I feel like each episode for me got progressively better up until that finale. Even the finale like made me say, I said what the fuck probably like 10,000 times.
The finale was exceptional. It's one of my favorite episodes. So yeah, it was a great finale. It's fun when they can stick the landing. I'm not sure if there is a season 4. They left the door open for it. But okay.
They confirmed it like halfway through the season.
They did. Okay.
It is like a picture with all the actors throwing up like 4s or whatever.
Right on. Okay. So yeah, I'm definitely up for that then.
Yeah, it's dope. I can't wait to see what they do this next summer in 2023 is what they announced it.
Next. Okay. And we won't. Yeah, never mind. I was gonna say something else, but I won't say anything else then. As far as it would be kind of almost leading to a spoiler, so I won't say anything else then about that.
You watched it in 2 days?
Ah, damn. Well, that's only 8 episodes. So wait, did she? So you mean you watched just the 3rd season in 2
yeah, I think right? Yeah, but even then, that's
it's 8 hours. It's not too bad. 8 hours.
Fair enough. I know I binge a lot of shit. That's why I'm over here talking. Like I don't binge entire anime shows in like a day or two.
You had multiple. Yeah, you
watched
all.
Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, that's 25 episodes. Whatever. Yeah.
Anyway, I think now we can get into the nitty gritty, man. I think this is what you've been waiting for a while. So I'll let you want to go ahead and hit the intro for it.
Of course,
it's time for the blur down.
All right, folks. This is our new segment that's going to be around for a while. The Blur Down. This is where we do a top 10-ish or however many countdown about a topic that pertains to something that happened in the week. And because Gorr the God Butcher is a badass, more or less, he's a badass. We decided to do the top 10 or top 5 apiece badasses in media and fictional and lore and everything else.
All right, I'm excited, man.
I am too, bro. I am too.
Yeah, you want me to start it off, or you want to start it off?
No. So yeah, it's always you. You always go first.
Oh man, I feel special.
You are special to me.
All right. So my number 5. For people that don't know how this works, we're gonna go for start at number 5, get down to our number 1s, and we're kind of just gonna go back and forth. For me, my number 5 is the legend Grandmaster himself, Mr. Chuck Norris. Especially people older than me that kind of probably grew up in the 80s, I think, when he was doing the Walker Texas Ranger stuff and all his martial arts movies. People understand that jump kick is iconic, and this dude is a badass. So much so that in I think the Expendables 2, he has a whole legend about getting bit by a snake and then the snake dying after 70 true days. That movie was not crazy good to me, but that one thing was forever been burned into my brain. Yep. Like that's the most badass thing, one of the most badass things I've ever heard. And he did it so well. It felt like stand-up comedy.
But that's the whole thing about Chuck Norris since the days of Conan back in the day when they had the whole like they built him up. They have like this like random Chuck Norris generator, but they pull the lever to be like, Joe, Chuck Norris doesn't dodge bullets dodge him, or whatever it might be, some crazy thing. Chuck Norris doesn't do push-ups when he puts his hands down the earth moves out of his way and goes back and forth. But it's just a whole idea of making this crazy mythos of this god-like man. I just love it. It is stand-up comedy. It is stand-up comedy.
The first time I heard it was like during Family Guy when he said Chuck Norris punches you with his third fist in his beard.
Yeah, show that pop out of his beard. Chuck Norris, I love it. But the thing about it too is that Chuck Norris kind of seems like almost like a opie kind of like boring white toast kind of a guy, but he's praised as a weird like uber, man of myth. So I love it. I love it to pieces.
Right. Well, man, who you got? What's your number 5?
All right, so my number 5, and this is one that you saw recently.
I forgot about the gameplay. Let me go throw the gameplay up while you're gone. My bad. Continue.
Oh, okay. So my number 5 is Master Sauron himself, not Saruman, but Sauron, the big dog. This dude, I mean, look, he hits a battlefield and everyone's like, get out of here, move. I love it. I wish there was talking about want to see more of somebody. I wish we could have seen more of Sauron in the movies. We only see like the eye, the lidless eye, but that intro, when I saw that, so Dev, I saw that movie in the theater, the first Fellowship of the Ring in the theater, and that on the big screen, that intro blew my brain out of my skull. I was like, oh my god, this guy is the OST of OSGs ever. I loved it piece. And he doesn't even talk. You never actually hear his voice, so it's great.
Yeah, we forgot to do it earlier, but for people that don't know, we usually run a gameplay when we're getting into certain parts of the show that are thematically aligning with whatever we're talking about. And because Marvel's dropping a Marvel movie, I decided to show some gameplay of the stream I had last night, / this morning. I was testing out some stuff, and I did Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Dope game. If you guys haven't played it, go play it. I was hooked. So yeah, if you guys want to see the actual video with sound, as shitty as my modeling mic was, which I'll figure that out, you can go over to the channel and see the actual gameplay with sound.
Right on. Well, plus the Guardians of the Galaxy are in this week's release of Thor: Love and Thunder. They do show up. It's not to spoil that the trailer show that. So it is pertinent in that regard too.
Right.
So yeah. But now we can move on to your number 4, Brody.
Yes, my number 4. This is the menace himself, Afro Samurai.
Oh, sorry. Oops.
No, you're good. I should have built him up a little bit longer to time. So Afro's badass to me, man. He's the silent but deadly type. Literally, as you're seeing now, this man is cutting bullets in half. Whenever somebody does that in the anime, where you're literally catching a bullet with a blade, that's some badass shit. And it's consistently time that people think they have him overmatched for whatever reason, and then he literally just murders everyone in the worst possible way, and then walks off with a cigarette, just chilling. Like, doesn't say anything, doesn't like celebrate or say like, yeah, I'll beat your ass. He just like walks off and he's like, yeah, I murdered them. So what?
Well, the thing about Afro is that he's always cool, calm, and collected. Like he never seems rocked or phased. He just seems very chill. He always gives you the 1,000-yard stare. In that scene there, he's surrounded by dudes, and a lot of them have those old school flintlock rifles or whatnot. And he's still, he brought a sword to a gunfight and won.
Right.
So I mean, he's a badass. He's a very definition of a badass. He really is.
Boy, Afro built different, man.
Afro built different. And you guys see this, of course, it has your boy, it's voiced by Sam Jackson, which is Dev's, is a
the ghost thing that was following around was
both of them are voiced by Sam Jackson. Yeah.
I forgot he talks, honestly.
Yeah, Afro barely talks. He barely talks. Yeah. He does from time to time.
Oh, this is out of pocket. Like this nigga just stays out of pocket. Jesus Christ. Anyway,
brutal. Again, he is driving. He's in the middle of driving on the freeway at 70 miles an hour, and Otis still has to get it in.
Felicia got to be driving right now.
Maybe. Hopefully.
They chilling listening to John Redcorn in the car.
John Redcorn. Oh God. All right. Moving on to my number 4 then. I
was eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, Zion. I was a little famished. I had to smack that sandwich with the quickness.
Yeah,
expeditiously.
Expeditiously, that makes sense enough. My number 4 is one of my favorite G's of all time. So video games. It's Mr. X himself. X gonna give it to you. And this is primarily in the remake, not in the original. He is in the original, but I'm talking about the remake that came out. Mr. X, his appearance in that game, he makes the game. His appearance in that game is epic. I've watched I don't know how many reaction videos of people playing, like streamers playing it, and when he shows up, everyone gets shook to death. And another fun thing about him in the game is that the game kind of like he literally breaks the game when he shows up. He can punch through walls. Like if you walk down several hallways over and over again, he can punch through those same halls you've been through before and surprise you. He can also like walk in Resident Evil games. Once you open a door and then close that door, any enemies behind you in that previous room can't go into the next room with you. He can open the door up and go right behind you. He has no problem with that. So there are no rules that'll hold him back. He is just a monster. And you hear his big ass footsteps everywhere you go. If you're like inside like, those little safe room that you can be in where he can't go into the safe room, you still hear his footsteps all over you and everywhere else. It's like I'm constantly afraid of this dude, man. It's like Candyman on like, I don't know, beefed up steroids or creatine.
All right, it's fucking crazy. Oh, so I guess it's Felicia talking shit in the chat. It's yeah, he in there, and then
He's
Zana
driving, I'm typing.
called him Bigfoot Daddy. So that's
Yes.
you got another crush on the zombie man.
That is her type, though.
Hey, big, strong silent type, man. I ain't mad at
No, I mean that's cool. I mean, we're not here to judge. This is a judgment-free zone. You know that, Zai, but
yeah, I don't yuck anybody's yum. Yeah, that I've seen all the memes about Mr. X. Like I see that one clip that's made where you pull out the bazooka and he's like, he don't want no smoke after that. Like,
yeah. No, it's yeah, of course, because it's a Resident Evil game too. But yeah, it's good stuff, man. I love it.
We established we like toxic, like we have similar types. We all like toxic people. We've established that
collectively, all four of us. Yeah. I mean, he's about as toxic as they get. I mean, he murders, punch you through a wall. Yeah.
Right. So it's my number 3, right?
It's your number 3. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
I got the little berserker, Logan James Howlett Wolverine. Yeah, this dude in anything I've seen him in any kind of animation, live action, he's just relentless. Like, I'm surprised they haven't done like a Viking like Wolverine story yet, because he's the definition of a berserker, where he just like disregards any kind of damage to himself. It's almost like the WWE clip that you hear. Oh my God, I can't talk today. With no regard for human life, he just literally just goes and fucks everything up, not caring how he feels.
Yeah, because he is wildly destructive. Or destructive to himself because he doesn't care. He's not concerned with his well-being, and he definitely would, if he was a Viking, he would live for that kind of shit. As far as just being able to go head first into battle and just not giving enough about it. Although Vikings do have a thing where they, on some level, they value dying on a battlefield. That's how they go to Valhalla. He can't do that, so it may be antithetical to his lifestyle in a way.
I mean, he's died fighting a couple times.
He dies, but he comes back. I mean, I know the comic books, he actually finally it seemed like he had a death for real, but
for like 4 years, and they brought him back again.
Yeah, they bring him back again. So yeah.
I think that's a long enough than anybody stayed dead in comics for a minute. And when you're done, you did like concurrently for 4 years. That's crazy.
It's rare. I mean, any NERD, no one ever really dies in comics, but
right.
They tried.
Well, all right, my man, is it your 3 or are we on?
Is that my 3 too? So my 3 is also a big of a. He's kind of the opposite of Wolverine, but in a lot of ways he's very similar to him.
Oh yeah.
It's the big man, Mr. Brawley himself. I think it's called Broly, not Brawley. But he, I'm referring to Dragon Ball Super version of Broly, where he actually has a personality and a backstory. That film, I saw that also in the theater. The best part was they only had at the theater I went to. They only planned on showing it once. They screened it once at like 7:00 one night, and it sold out in like 5 minutes. So they had to plan for another screen the next day, and that screening sold out as well. And that theater was packed to the gills with hardcore blurs and other kinds of anime fans. And when Brawley shows up, people lost. People were kind of applauding or cheering for Goku and Vegeta. Yeah, of course, that's cool. But when Brawley showed up, people lost their minds. And he did not disappoint either. He was a GOAT. It was fantastic. So much fun watching that. And just the idea of someone taking on Goku and Vegeta and Gogeta essentially in their uber primes and still not backing down. Just like, I don't die. I don't care what you is. I'm coming for you. I love it.
Right. Honestly, I'd argue, although he didn't have a personality, I'd argue the original Broly was more of a badass than this one.
He probably was more of a badass.
I ain't never seen. Well, I think we've seen him do it to Goku once, where he grabbed somebody by the face and like drugged them around. Literally looked at the little green aliens. He's like, "Oh, is that yours? That's your planet right there? Fuck your planet!" And it just blew that shit
blows it up.
Blows it up. Literally like Piccolo, and I think. Was it Piccolo and Trunks, or they were like trying to piece him up from like both sides of him, and he's not even trying to just like dodging the shit like without trying.
He's his arms folded as they're tagging him, and doesn't do anything to him.
Yeah, to me, that's epic shit. That was some badass. Like he was just doing badass thing after badass thing. Like it took a while to get there in that movie, and he didn't like have any kind of personality, but he was just like a force of pure, unadulterated badass for the rest of that movie.
He was wild. He's wild out hard. The reason I chose Dragon Ball Super Brawl is because he went up against Goku and Vegeta when they were like blue Saiyan and like God tier level Saiyan and like fusion, and it was still hanging with them. The other Broly would have gotten chumped out pretty fast though. That's why I chose that one.
Technically, he didn't die in the first one.
Technically, he didn't die, but those sequel movies are unwatchable. You've seen them.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
Getting into
anyway,
numero dos for me is the main character of the upcoming game coming out, Mr. Kratos himself, God Killer, Goatee Man, Beard Gang. He does it all. This man literally almost on literally Gorr. He's what Gorr wanted to be. Let's keep it a buck.
Fair.
He's what Gorr wanted to be. This man literally found any and every god he came across and was like, fuck you, fuck your couch, fuck them yuck mouth teeth.
Yeah.
Like he went full ham. And literally to the point to where even when he dies, he just kills the person, he kills Hades and is like, or depending on which time it was, he does a couple times, and it's just like, yeah, fuck death, I'm out of this bitch. And then either climbs out of hell or kills Hades, the guy that runs hell, and it's still like, all right, I'm gone. You're not
how much of a badass do you have to be to literally kill the god of death and then fuck his couch and then walk out of his house? That's what Kratos did. That's bananas. That's bananas. And it was
literally said fuck your couch and then walked off.
Yeah, it's actually in the game. It's the special edition. He says fuck your couch, and it cuts it with his sword in half and then walks out.
No, that's a clone by Broly. I'm capping it off at when Gohan, Trunks, and Goten, not Trunks, but Gohan, Goten, and Goku's spirit killed him in the second one. That Bio Broly was like some random different thing that I'm like,
but it is based off of his DNA. I mean, it's not him, but
yeah, but I'm gonna be biased tonight.
No, because even the one before I think it's movie number 10, where it's still actual Broly, the real one that got injured up. He has a scar. He has a Sagat scar on his chest. That movie is still not. That movie is still weak sauce too.
Oh, it's still granted in that one. Still, he is doing more badass shit because he's like literally like torturing Videl, Gohan, and Goten. Like
they can't.
That version of Broly had no personality and was really terribly written, but was just violating any and everything in front of him. It was ridiculous.
He's a wild animal, but yeah, he's bad. The thing is, Broly is badass. He still has hardcore fans, of course. So yeah, he's a wild animal. He's a wild animal. He's
the walking version of a all black non-slip cooking shoe that you have whenever you work fast food.
There you go.
People that know that did fast food or worked it at all, or even like the food industry, whenever you had those non-slip black shoes that are literally indestructible and can take hot grease and everything else on them, that's Broly. He just powers through everything, and it's just the
Black Air Force energy, basically. Yeah,
literally.
Yes, that's what it's based off of him. It's based off of Broly.
They created the Black Air Force around this. Yeah, that's how bad it was.
And speaking of Black Air Force, I mean, it's not my best segue, but it's a segue. The dude's wearing black. Get off me.
Lord Vader.
Now this obviously is more or less the hallway scene, but it's an anime version, so it's even more badass. Vader is, I'll be honest with you, Dev, I don't know that Star Wars would be what it is without Darth Vader. Like if you try to have this series of a whole bunch of heroes in space fighting and everything else, without that menacing badass presence, I don't know there'd be an entire franchise.
Yeah, it wouldn't be. I think a lot of villains in modern day you can go up their creative tree all the way back to Vader. Like that will he helped inspire a lot of villains in modern day because the dude was menacing as hell. It was literally the epitome of like a damn super villain.
Yes. And Vader too, like, I mean, this is something I'm not sure if you all have noticed in our countdown so far, but I think all of Dev's choices so far have been heroes, and all of my choices so far have been villains. I feel like the villains, you can definitely be a badass hero, that's fine, but villains oftentimes are so OP that it's what it drives a plot. It's what makes the heroes have to rise up and do something. So having an OP badass villain is a hallmark of a good story, in my opinion.
No. I agree with you. I just had to throw that in there.
I was like, I know he agrees, but the timing of what he's saying, yeah.
Unlimited power. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Yeah, I knew you were gonna play. I knew you were gonna play it too. I knew you were gonna play it. I met you before.
Oh my god, pretty much. Pretty much, Chris. Like
but
literally
more present.
he-
Madara
he-
didn't show up till the very end.
I
Very end.
think he means in just like the significance of like people, like the show really got turned when he was in there.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because the thing is too is like it's so much fun to watch like Naruto or whatnot try taking on powerhouses like
Mhm.
Madara, and it's so much fun to watch that hallway scene where in Rogue One where Vader just cuts everyone to shreds. It's so much fun to watch. Gorr. I know he didn't do much, but when Gorr there's a part there's one big scene when Gorr is like, I am the top dog here. I can F all y'all's couches without even trying. It's like, yeah, that's fun to watch.
He's like, I am unfuckwittable. You can't. I'm sorry.
I am unfuckwithable. That is in the dictionary twice.
New
I saw it,
catchphrase coming on merch soon. We'll put it on
all the merch. All the merch.
I'm unfuckwittable.
Speaking of unfuckwittable, we have your now. This is the goat of goats. This is the OPOP. This is the baddest of badass. You're number one.
This is my favorite person almost of all time. Kobe Jelly Bean Bryant. Now, hear me out. This is very different from what we've done so far. But in terms of badassery, let's just run down the list. This dude has an infinite amount of physical injuries that would sideline 90% of not only professional athletes, but regular people today. Played through them shits. Got rings. Literally any highlight clip you see of this man, he's either taped up or wrapped up to some extent. Man literally tore his Achilles tendon, which more people can't literally walk at all. And then he just like shot the free throw and walked off without any aid by himself. The man was literally God. And yeah, Zai, I get it. It's unorthodox. But hear me out. This man has done shit in some anime people dream to do. Sure. That badass. Millions of stories of people like he'd be methodical where he's getting up and he's outward. He's literally a shonen character. He's an anime character.
He's a shonen character. Because he entered the league when he was 18. So
yeah,
was it 19 or 19 or 18?
I think 17 or 18 because he was out of.
He was 18. Okay, but she is a shonen character. He's 100% a shonen character.
Literally, when you see Asta working out or whatever else, people have all the stories of, hey man, I went in there at 6. Kobe was already there in a full sweat working out at 3. It's crazy.
Yeah. He is one of O and I's favorite animes is Haikyuu. It's a volleyball anime, but the main character there, Hinata, that's what he just has so much. He has so much passion for what he's doing. He works out the hardest. He works out harder than anybody else. He's always the first one there, last one to leave. He puts 110% in every single fucking play, and it's a lot. Watching him is like, yes, similar to Kobe. It really is similar to watching Kobe do his thing. And one of my favorite moments actually isn't even him on the court. Is after he got the 5th championship. You know this part where he was being interviewed at the press conference afterwards. He goes, "What do you have to say?" And he goes, "I have one more than Shaq." It's like he has the kind of the swagger of an anime character too. You know,
it's like combining Satoru Gojo. Is that what is his whole name? Oh my god, is it Satoru Gojo? Is that what it is?
Oh yes, yeah.
Satoru Gojo and like Asta, where it's like he has that swag combined with that work ethic and just does dope shit. It's just literally unfuckwittable.
Pretty much,
yeah. But that's my number one. I'm biased, obviously, but
and one last thing too. He's cause I'm in LA, and he's to put it. I can't overstate how much of a hometown hero he is. And this LA is a vast, large city, and this entire all the bureaus, everyone you see murals to him and his daughter when they passed. But you see, he is beloved. He was at the Lakers his entire career, so he is very 100% an anime legend.
Chris, I'd argue he's Goku because he's broken his shit. Dude dominates for 3 years, has a whole training arc, comes back and scoring like 81 in the game, averaging 35 for a season, then continues to win 2 more back-to-back rings. Like whenever he's down, he has his training arc and comes back and just dominates and wins some more. Dude, he's literally Goku. He's unfuckwittable.
He's Goku or Ippo from Hajime no Ippo.
He's fucking up Goku in a fist fight too. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you can get banned from the Blur community, but that one, but that's okay. That is okay. It's all right.
I'll come live in LA. That's fine.
Yeah, you do that though. I want you to. So before we get to my number one, I have to of course play the honorable mention. Is an honorable mention. This person deserves the love that we should give them. Is of course Buttercup.
Oh my God, you were there, Buttercup.
B Buttercup. She is a badass of badasses. Look at her green streak. Just that girl, boy. She's a dime. She knows what she wants and she gets it every time. All right. So my
Oh,
my I had to do that. I
God.
had to do that just to make sure Dev was awake, and he is.
Yeah, I better not ever hear you play an R. Kelly song ever in my life.
Jesus, why'd you go there? Why'd you
sorry.
go there?
I'm sorry.
No urine. So my number one, my goat is Mr. Baki Hanma. Now I know that Otis isn't the biggest fan of this anime, of this particular version of the anime, but he is a fan of the character. Baki Hanma is actually similar to Kobe in some regards, as far as him being like cocky, but is a baller. Everything he says he can back up. So it's not really cocky as much as he is confident. The particular reason I love Baki Hanma like I do is because he was the son of what most folks in his universe consider a god almost. And this god treats his son like shit on the regular. It's so much so that he, by birth, has no choice but to take him on. Could you imagine if you were directly the son of God, actual God himself, and God just pressed his thumb on you over and over again every single day, and you had to find a way to rise above that and beat him. And that's kind of the story of Baki. I just love that. And he finds a way to do it. He is the youngest one in this universe, and yet he's somehow next to his dad. So far, he's the GOAT. No one can beat him except his dad. So
I'm surprised you didn't pick Yujiro, because I'd argue he's the biggest badass in the universe. With the
but it's also my personal preference. I actually like Baki. Yujiro is a GOAT. Of course he's a badass, but I actually don't. You can't like Yujiro. I like Baki. I actually enjoy watching Baki.
Motherfucker killed an elephant by hand.
Or whatever that creature was. Yeah, killed it by hand and then ate its body raw. They didn't even cook it.
Granted, yeah.
So Yujiro is badass. I love Yujiro. I mean, Yujiro is fun to hate, but I actually like watching Baki's story, his journey. I like
Baki beat. I haven't read the whole manga, but has he even beat Yujiro yet?
No, I haven't read it all either. But no, pretty much when that happens, it's over. There's no.
Like whenever he pulls up, he's like, "Oh, son, you here? All right, let me fuck you up real quick and then fuck up your friend. All right, I'm out."
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He's Otis says daddy issues.
Literally.
Yeah, it's the very definition of daddy issues. That's putting it mildly, but it's a lot of, I guess what it is too is explorational dev in the sense that I don't care who you are, where you are. There's been a time in your life where you felt like the world was against you, and in Baki's world, that's 100% true. The world is against him, and he has to fight back. I mean, the whole definition of fight back. He is the epitome of fight back, and his fight back has gotten so strong that he's the Kratos of his verse, so to speak. Dude's
crazy. I guess all I can say, dude's insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, thank you for coming to the Blurred Down. That was fun.
Yes.
Before we leave, we got to do some church announcements coming up. For people that don't know, oh yeah, I forgot about the Django video. So for anybody that doesn't know, Ethan wanted me to put this in there, but I finally dropped a video I've been working on for 2-3 months on and off. It being why Django Unchained is my favorite movie of all time and what it meant to me. It's a video essay I put a lot of work into, and tried to literally go into as deep as my bag as I could editing for now until I get better. So we have a clip of it for you here in case you're interested in it.
It's a pretty eclectic soundtrack, as is most of my soundtracks. This one in particular, though, is a neat mix of old school songs, spaghetti western soundtrack pieces, and some new music, which is actually a very first for me.
First and foremost, the biggest reason why this movie will sit forever special in my heart is the music. So yeah, if you want to see more of that and you like what you saw, you can go find the video over on the YouTube channel. Yeah, that video took a lot of work, and I put a lot of my heart and soul into that video. So I
came out great.
I appreciate the support.
I'll be honest, I watched it already. It came out great. Well done, Brody. Well done.
For anybody else that does not know, if you like more content like that, more video essay style format, we're going to be producing a documentary on Dragon Ball and its effect on the Black nerd community. For people that don't know what that is, don't know, we're Blurreds. That's the designated title of that. So we're going to be breaking that down, and we've talked to some really dope people that they provide a lot of perspective on the show itself and different characters. So no, we're not doing another Tyrese clip. People I told Ethan about this already, but I went back when I was like fucking with our TikTok, and I saw that we literally we looked mean as shit in that video. I could see why people did not like us in that clip on TikTok.
The thing is, you saw the clip. It's not like we're lying. We wants to lie.
Right, dude. Literally, we got a million comments like, "Oh, y'all, so you mad at him for trying to get a job? Y'all,
Get
so
a
they one dude called
job.
us clowns." He was like, "Y'all must be millennials." I'm like, "Yo, it's not that serious. Chill." I look back at him like, "Damn, we literally laughed at this man trying his hardest, but the shit was so funny I couldn't help but laugh at it."
It's keep in mind this was already when he was a working actor getting millions of dollars. Whoever made those comments, I'm 99.9% sure they're poorer than Tyrese was when he made that audition tape, because that was to get on like
It was to
what's
get
that
on
for-
Django.
that was for
Actually,
Django, right? That
funny
was for
enough, he
Django.
auditioned to be Django, and that was
To
his
be
audition
Django.
tape.
He had already done multiple Fast and Furious movies. He was not by any means. Yeah, we'll get we'll get that clip for you, Chris.
Yeah.
Do we have that we can play? We can play the if we do we have the.
He doesn't know what it is. I don't think that was Otis talking about the clip, but
No,
in case you don't know what it is, if you don't, I'll go to TikTok real quick and try to pull it up.
Yeah, try to find it. But if you're trying, the thing is, Tyrese, that is not his first time making an audition tape either. So his manager and like his agent should be like, "Yo, let's do this the real way, Tyrese. Can I call you Tyrese?" They should have said like, let's sit down with some cameras and some Cavassier. Let's do this the right way. They let him do that. It's like, what are you doing? That's choice. That's a lot of choices, and it didn't work. You saw who actually got the role, so clearly we're not alone in thinking that he should have done something different.
All right, I think I got it right here. Where is it at? Am I tweaking? Hold on. Am I stupid? There it is. There it is. So for people that don't know, we are on TikTok as well. This is our TikTok, and the video I'm talking about, I have it pinned to the top. Where the hell is it? It's here somewhere. It should be right here. I'm
gonna find it. 1 second, Chris. We got it.
Oh my god, I'm blind apparently. Hold on, let me scroll back down. I guess this one is in chronological order apparently, because I know I had that's like I pinned it to the top of the page because it's like
you're getting
rated TikTok. I'm gonna find that shit. Does somebody take it down?
I wonder if that happened. Can you imagine if Tyrese if it got so much heat that Tyrese found out about it and was actually mad and took it down? That would make my year.
Bro, Tyrese got our video our TikTok clap.
Yeah, if Tyrese got our video taken down.
Oh, here it is.
We found okay. Here you go. Yes, he is. Zai.
Funny enough, like you can see in the comments to the right, dude's like, "How old are y'all?"
Video. Look at it's kind of small because it's a TikTok video, but like you can look at Tyrese trying to act. I mean, quote unquote acting. Look at Tyrese acting.
I mean, granted, I don't think it was bad acting, but he tried, bro. That's just so bad. People literally came for us so bad in the comments.
They did, but
oh no, he tried to get a job.
The thing is though is that there's a part where he it comes up here. So the crying, right, with the tears, he couldn't actually cry. Fair enough. Not gonna knock on you for that. However, he wanted to seem like he could. So he's there. That it cuts to him. It has like a cut. It does a cut, and it comes back, and he has water down his eyes. So it's like we know you couldn't actually produce the waterworks naturally. So you try to use a cheap ass quick cut and come back to you with water there to convince us you could cry. That's not convincing to a casting director if they see you that you can't cry in the drama.
All right. For anybody that doesn't know too, for that specific live show, I did proceed. If you watch the entire thing, we proceeded to give that man his flowers for the good stuff that we did like of him. So that whole episode when we did that was not just us shitting on Tyrese the entire time. I personally love this. I love this nigga's music. This nigga's music is some of my favorite music, like an R&B.
I love how you're trying to make sure that it's clear that you.
Yeah, I don't want to look like no damn like super hater on the man. Like because we did give that man his props, so it wasn't just saying he was just straight up trash as a person.
It is all right, buddy. It is all right.
It's the whole thing, but
he'll
yeah,
be
that
all
was
right. I promise he'll be. Right. If you're wondering, Tyrese is fine. He has a nice, lovely home. He has all kinds of food in his fridge. He's fine. He's fine.
Hopefully so. Do I have anything else for the church announcements? I'm trying to see if this thing's still in here. If it's not in here, I'll take it out. For people that don't know, for recently, our buddy, Otis and Stan dropped a comic named Briarlands. If you guys are not familiar, go check it out. I think they have links to it in their social medias. You can go pick that comic up. It's gonna be it's already dope. I read that first issue myself. It's amazing. Go check that out. Support the boys.
And it's we are already in production on I'm the writer on it. We're already in production on the second book, and they are dropping it on Webtoons daily, weekly. They're putting up the book on Webtoons, so you can follow along with it that way as well. And book 2 will be on there very soon. And if you yourself are interested in being getting your story made or told, a comic book that you have an idea for, please feel free to hit me up at echelonngnovels.com. It's part of my day job. I am a comic book writer and creator, and my team and I will help produce your book and get it made for you as the way that it's meant to be. So yeah.
Right. Also, just before we leave, I want to give some shout outs to people that mean a lot to what we've been doing to this asset. This outfit, or is that what the niggas say in movies? Whatever it is.
It is now.
Shout out my boy Jeffrey. He does a lot of our beats that you've seen, a lot of our music, a lot of our videos. Dude's talented, makes dope music. We have a comic coming out pretty soon. Me and him have a comic coming out relatively soon called The Son of Shaitan, so we can't wait to get that out. As well as shout out to guys over at Small Screen. They've been blowing up lately. I'm proud of those guys. They're like 4-point-something K subs now. Yeah, and doing great. We met them when they were just
trying to get to 1K.
Yeah. So now they've been blowing up. Also, shout out to my boy Clint Baker and Curtis Baker. They have their own stuff over on YouTube as well. Those dudes make dope content. It literally has like there's like Keith David, Morgan Freeman, and Tony Todd, and then there's like Clint, like not too far beyond them in regards to voices. Dude's voice is crazy.
It's you know it if you heard it. Yeah,
right. It's iconic.
It's in the same league as like Phil Lamar, basically.
Mm-hmm. Those guys make dope videos, dope content. So if you guys want to see more of us, sometimes you'll see us on some of those. I've been on all those shows. Oh, also the Blurred Lines podcast. I can't forget my boy Nick.
It's church announcement.
I can't forget my boy Nick Perry and Greg over there. Those dudes make dope shit too as well. They do a lot more video game centered stuff. So please, if you want to, if you like us and you want more content similar to us, go check out all those content creators that make dope shit. And
of course, Ziana, who's been in the chat and everything. She has an amazing Twitch channel too. Check her out. Chris, who's been this Chris right here. Chris has an amazing comic book coming out pretty soon too. So if we're giving all the flowers we can, give out the flowers.
Give out the bouquets, man. Give out the bouquets.
Give out the bouquets.
So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. This has been another episode of these.
She said no, don't do it. I guess maybe Ziana doesn't want us to tell people about her Twitch channel. I don't know why, but
what do you mean?
I'm not sure. I didn't say it.
Yeah.
I love it.
This has been another episode of the Then and Now podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time. Poo Diddy.
Ooh, Poo Diddy.